Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Happy Nvidia Day to you. Happy Nvidia Day to Ayo, Vimbai, and happy Nvidia Day to all our viewers, because that's what today is. But let's begin in Asia. There's a story developing that China is supposed to be preparing some stimulus for its property sector. Bloomberg is reporting. We're still getting some details, but still the markets were down there. Hong Kong down, but where we really saw the big jump was in Korea and Japan because of the tech stocks that are there. Samsung, SK Hynix, Taiwan Semiconductors, that's TSMC and so on. Because of the earnings we got from, because of the markets being up, Nvidia's earnings, and then the Asian markets tracking that. So that's what we're seeing there. And compared to what we saw over the last 4 days, I mean, it's been pretty much red all around. So Asian markets getting a pickup. US markets, this was before Nvidia's earnings. S&P 500 snapping like a 4-day losing streak. The Dow was up. I mean, the Dow 0.1%, so a bit marginal, but S&P 0.3, and then where you really saw the jump was for the Nasdaq at 0.5, where most of the technology stocks are located. So this is where Nvidia closed Wednesday before, because it released its earnings, after the bell. So it was up by 2.85, and then after hours, after it released the results, jumped by 5%. Advanced Micro Devices, other stocks that chip stocks also climbed as well. So let's get into it. I mean, let me remind everyone, I said we should put this up. We previewed this yesterday, so remember these numbers. The markets are looking for 54 billion in revenue, earnings per share of $1.25, and then their forecast for 2026 of about 286. They blew past them. So revenue came in at 57 billion. I mean, this is 57 billion for the company, 62% growth there. Key is their data center revenues, because that's where all these chips that they design, the AI, the chips for this artificial intelligence, they go into these data centers. So this is where a lot of the market was looking at 51.2 billion. I mean, look at that, 51. Took that as a percentage out of 57. I mean, that's really where they made their money, 66% growth. I've been using this metric a lot. We use this with Xpeng, with Xiaomi, your gross margin, which is supposed to measure how efficient you are in maintaining profits after you strip out your cost of doing business. I mean, Xpeng and Xiaomi, those were like in 13, 14%. Look at this, 73.4% gross margin for Nvidia, which is very, very healthy. I mean, EPS, remember the markets are looking at, that's earnings per share. We're looking at $1.25, came in at $1.30, so it beat that as well. Operating income, 65% growth there. Their net income, 31.9, and they are guiding towards 65 billion for fourth quarter revenue. So all around, it was a very, very healthy results. Jensen Huang spoke afterwards. This is their Blackwell chip, their latest chip that is supposed to be, pushing forward with respect to powering data centers. The Blackwell sales are off the charts. Cloud GPU are sold out. Compute, which is the inference that these chips do. Compute demand keeps accelerating and compounding across training and inference, each growing exponentially. By the way, China had nothing to do with this. They basically said there was no China sales, insignificant, which means that for 2026, if the US on the geopolitical side decides to allow for exports of chips to China, that could be an upside for the company. So he said we've entered the virtuous cycle of AI. The AI ecosystem is scaling fast with more new foundation models, makers, more AI startups across more industries, and in more countries. AI is going everywhere, doing everything all at once. I don't know if you remember that Hollywood movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Meanwhile, speaking of the US on the geopolitical side, we had, of course, the Saudi prince at in the White House yesterday. There was a lavish dinner attended by Elon Musk, attended by Jensen Huang was there too. This was in DC. And artificial intelligence was at the heart of the deals that were signed. President Trump claimed $270 billion worth of deals were signed. Saudi Arabia's AI venture, Humane, said they're going to buy about 600,000 Nvidia chips. So that's, again, a revenue driver for the company. Elon Musk was there, so maybe they've mended fences between him and Trump. They said that Humane and XAI are going to develop AI centers. They're going to build data centers there. And then on the rare earth side, you know what's been happening with China squeezing rare earth export, although China has eased up on that now. But this US company, MP Materials, they plan to build a rare earth refinery in Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, the giant Saudi Aramco signing about 17 memorandums of understanding with some US firms. So that's what we got got from that Saudi US meetup. Now, on the job side, we're expecting I've lost count because this shut down. We're in November, October. We're expecting September jobs numbers tomorrow, which are frankly outdated. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics in America announced yesterday that there will be no October jobs report. In fact, the market dipped a little bit when they made that announcement. They say it's because the government shutdown impacted the ability to gather data. So they're saying that they are going to, in fact, there will be no unemployment rate, in fact, for October. And the little data they've got, they're going to roll it into November. November, by the way, we're supposed to get that in the first week of December, December 5th. They've now said they will move that to December the 16th, which is about 6 days after the Federal Reserve meets in December. So the Federal Reserve is now flying blind. They will not have any jobs data for the prior month when they meet in December, and this November jobs was going to come after the case. So what has happened now is that the odds of a December rate cut, which a few months ago was at 100%, fell to 40%. When this news came out, it fell to 25%, because now I don't know, they could still surprise markets, but folks just don't know what data that the Federal Reserve is going to use to come to a decision with respect to the pathway for monetary policy, because there's just no data. And remember, the Federal Reserve's mandate is price stability and full employment. So the labor market and inflation are those two things they keep looking at. Round off with Nigeria, there's just so much going on. NGX, remember when the NGX was at 50% year to date, it's fallen to 40. There's been about 6-7 trillion lost within the past few weeks because of a number of things, whether it's capital gains tax or other things that have been going on, or profit taking. The Naira trading at 1,454 yesterday. This isn't that recent, but I just thought to bring it up. The CBN saying that the reserves now at $46.7 billion, which is about 10 months of cover. Then we had a fact distribution, I think that's in today's This Day newspaper, about the 2 trillion that was shared among the 3 tiers of government. This was 1.4 trillion in October of 2024, so the big jump there. And then the Statistician General of the Bureau of Statistics, we're talking about the BLS delaying data in America, saying that the Bureau of Statistics here in Nigeria needs more money for data gathering. That's our update for today.
Rotus, thank you so much.
Thank you.
No surprises for me from Nvidia. I knew once the Saudis came in, we were gonna, especially because we were there.
Yep.
Donald Trump Jr.'s company, 1789 Capital, is backing investment into Nvidia on a very big scale, and he sealed a number of deals in Saudi. So no surprises there. Let's see where Nvidia goes.